welcome everyone. It's really exciting to have everyone here today at our Q Week event. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to give it over to our moderator for today, Victoria, and she'll get us started.
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria. I'm on the CURB e-board along with everyone else that's on the panel today. Today we're going to go over a couple different of the committees in the Cornell Undergraduate Research Board, which I'll refer to as CURB from now on. We just wanted to have a few announcements. So at any point, if you have a question, you can either type it publicly in the chat or you can message it privately to me. My thing starts with PMP, so make sure to message it to me. Another thing is the format of this is we plan that around, the first half of it is going to be talking about all the committees where you get to really engage with a lot during the spring semester. And then we will have a follow-up with the Q&A. So if your question's not answered right away, just know that we have a Q&A session right afterwards. Do not worry about your face or anything being recorded because we've allowed for that to not be seen. And if we are recording though, so if you choose to unmute yourself or something, just be aware of that. We will be posting this on our website afterwards as well as our YouTube channel. We'll provide more information about how you can get in touch with our social medias afterwards. So without further ado, we're going to get started with this presentation and welcome to CURB. And Ananya, if you're willing to take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Ananya and I'm one of the co-presidents of CURB. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how to get involved in the undergraduate research community through some of our resources here in CURB, as you're going to hear in a second here, as well as just a brief overview of some other opportunities, and feel free to really ask us anything about undergraduate research. We want to be that one-stop shop for you. So I'm going to hand it over to my other co-president to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, I'm Nick, I'm the other co-president. Thank you, Ananya. So what is research? So we're all here today because we want to talk about how to get involved in research. And research is really any opportunity in which undergraduates are pursuing new knowledge. Trying to create something completely new under the guidance of a faculty member or a graduate student or a postdoc. Something beyond the coursework, which can look like anything ranging from lab work, like some of you may be imagining, working at the bench, working with cells and organisms, or to computational work, programming, simulations, etc., to in the humanities or the social sciences, conducting surveys, reading literature and writing reviews. It takes on a wide range of modalities, and we're here to help you explore where your interests lie across that spectrum of research.
Great, yes. So what is CURB's mission? And so what we'd like to say is we're the one-stop shop. We help you through the entire process of developing your undergraduate research career. And what exactly does that look like? So that means getting into a research group, which we'll do through our peer mentorship program. Presenting your research, as you can do through CURBX and Symposium, is also a great place to kind of see what other students are up to, as well as kind of into that applying into to graduate school, which is kind of that next step that some students will take to pursue a career in research. And throughout that process, we also have community outreach, talking about your research with the community, as we'll see with our outreach committee, as well as networking with faculty through our CURB Connects committee. So you'll kind of hear about these opportunities, all of which will be occurring this semester, as well as some other really exciting opportunities. So without further ado, I will pass it over to our peer mentorship.
Hi everyone, so as I introduced myself before, my name is Victoria. I am one of the co-chairs of the peer mentorship program. And essentially the peer mentorship program is a short but very helpful curriculum for students that look to obtain a long-term research position at Cornell. You can be a freshman, a sophomore, a transfer student. We've even had seniors in the program. This is helpful for any time that you want to obtain a research position, either on or off campus, but the focus is primarily Cornell. We give a lot of resources for how to find research at Cornell, but the information is super useful for outside of that. And the reason it's called the peer mentorship program is because it's twofold. One involves presentations and workshops that the PMP e-board provides for you guys. So there's a set time each week where you guys will come together and you will receive information from us about how to find a summer research experience, how to find research by going to office hours, how to send the appropriate emails to professors so that you can get a response, and then how to interview properly, how to thrive in your research environment, just the whole breadth and depth of knowledge for how to really obtain and then thrive in that research position at Cornell and perhaps elsewhere. And then the second part is that you get paired with a mentor in your field of interest. And that comes from the application process, which I will talk about in the next couple of slides. And this pairing is really important because you will meet with someone each week or every 2 weeks who is part of a lab in your field of interest, and they can give you more individualized advice, and they can review your resumes, your cover letters, just all that good stuff, give you advice, and hopefully be a mentor for you and a form of support as you go through this not easy process. It's not easy to find a position at Cornell. So we're here to help you. And I've put a couple, so you'll see throughout this presentation that we have a couple flyers from each of the committees. These were from last fall, and we also have PMP specific events. So we have a professor panel. This was open to the Cornell community, but one of the amazing things that we had was we had professors answer your common questions. And so people from PMP get to submit those questions. And so it's really directed towards the students in PMP, even though it's a Cornell-wide event, and they are professors from all fields. They're able to answer all those questions. Then we also have a graduate student networking event, and that's specific to PMP individuals and students and mentees. So the grad student networking event allows you to, and we were able to do this virtually last semester, it allows you to hop between virtual booths, and you get to talk to different graduate students who work for principal investigators, which basically means the head of each research group at Cornell. And the graduate students are vital to every research group. And so it's really important to be able to talk to them, and they give you advice, and they can actually be a form of connecting to the head of the research group that you're interested in. And so that's why we have a networking event. So if you join PMP, you're more than welcome to participate in these events. And we think you'll learn a lot from being part of this program. And so the next slide talks about the admissions process. So if you want to become a mentee, the time commitment is not big at all. It's once a week for at most an hour, at most. So the first half would be a presentation from the e-board, so myself and then my other two co-chairs. And it will be about one main topic of the week. So let's say resumes and CVs, how to properly craft those. Then let's say that the week before I had talked about interviewing. Then the half an hour after that presentation on resumes and CVs will be sort of a workshop where you get to meet with the other mentees that are assigned to your mentor. And you will go over, a mock interview session with based on the previous week's material. So it's actually a pretty formulaic and easy process once you get used to the format. It's once a week, very low time commitment. We're thinking it's going to be Tuesdays from 5:30 to 6:30. So just be aware of that. How to apply. So the link is on this flyer. So feel free to take a screenshot, do whatever you need to do. And all we're looking for is that you're interested in research and that you can properly express that. And so as long as you're not putting effort in the application and you're able to, properly express what it is that you want and what you're interested in, you don't have to be completely set on anything. Just describe why you want to be part of the program, what you're hoping to learn from it, and your chances of getting in will be extremely high. So, but you do need to apply in order to be part of the program. And then it also helps us that you're as detailed as possible so that we can match you with the proper mentor. So the deadline is February 13th, which is a Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. And I believe, no, it should be the 20th for mentees. Yeah, I think it's switched over here. So for the mentors, it should be the 13th. And then for mentees, it is the 13th. So if you want to become a mentor, you have to apply a week before the mentees do, so that the week before the mentee applicant deadline, you're able to interview for the position. And then when you interview, we will have all the applications from the mentees and all the applications of the mentors, and then we're able to match. And something that you should note from both of the applications is that we now have listed like keywords. So make sure that you put keywords and check all that apply for words that really describe your interests. And so that will really help us match you with a mentor. If you have any questions, I'm so sorry for the mix up in the deadlines. It should be for the mentees, the 20th. So you actually have a week extra, but if you want to become a mentor, it's a week earlier. And one thing that I should note is that, let's say you get into a lab after being part of the peer mentorship program, and being a mentee, you can always apply to become a mentor as soon as you're into a lab. So it's a really great way to be part of CURB for a longer period of time.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lizzie, and I am one of the co-chairs of the Outreach Committee of CURB. So as the name suggests, our primary goal of outreach is to reach out beyond just Cornell's campus and into the Ithaca community to inspire younger generations. Our mission is to evoke a passion for science and or research in young students, families, and even parents in Ithaca. We hold several events for the Ithaca community members, the first being trips to the Science Center, which is described at the bottom of the slide. So these events include interactive experiments with young children based on a theme. For example, last spring, we held a Science Center event called Whatever Floats Your Boat, and the experiments surrounded the topic of buoyancy. So we weren't able to actually hold any of these Science Center visits last semester because of the pandemic, but we are trying to still collaborate with the Science Center in hopes of either doing virtual events or socially distanced once the weather gets nicer so we can hold them outside. And then the second event that we hold for the Ithaca community, also available to Cornell students, is In Your Own Backyard. And this is an event where we have grad students from Cornell talk about research surrounding one topic. And this is available for both students at Cornell and also just Ithaca community members. And the whole idea is that we provide information about research that is relevant to them. So this flyer is from last fall, fall 2020. And this was our event that was surrounded around the topic of sustainability and the environment. And we hope to continue this event in the spring as well. And so while we work off campus, the Outreach Committee, we also act as a resource for undergraduate students at Cornell as well, with our grad student panels and workshop series, which my co-chair Jen will discuss more about.
Thank you, Lizzie. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm the other co-chair for Outreach. The Outreach Committee also plans events with graduate students that serve as a resource for undergraduates who are interested in graduate school. For example, this is a flyer from last semester, and our panel event is called Grad School Demystified. So in this event, we hosted 2 panels of graduate students that shared their experiences with research, grad school, and also the application process, and they all gave great and very insightful advice for a lot of students. This semester, we're hoping to take this panel event, a step further by making it a workshop series over the month of March, where undergraduates will be able to work in small groups with graduate students and even potentially one-on-one with other graduate students to kind of tackle various parts of the grad school preparation and also the application process, such as personal statements, interviews, and other parts like that. And we really hope that these workshops, as well as the panels, can be a really helpful resource. So definitely keep an eye out for more updates and information, and we really hope to see more people there.
Hi, my name is also Victoria, and I'm the chair of the Curb Connect committee, which I will be talking about right now. So what Curb Connect does is it provides students with an opportunity to connect to professors in their area of interest and to learn more about the field that they're interested in. So there are around 2 Curb Connect events per month, and each one has its own topic ranging from fields such as biology to machine learning to chemistry, to economics, to history, physics, environmental science, lots of different fields. And at each event, there are around 2 to 3 professors, and students can interact with these professors and ask them questions. The professors talk about their fields and about their research. And in the past, we've had events on a lot of different topics. 2 of our upcoming events to look out for are we have a human biology event on February 16th from 6 to 7 p.m. ET, and it will feature professors from disciplines such as neurobiology and behavior, human nutrition, genetics, genomics, and development. And we also have an event coming up on February 23rd from 6 to 7 p.m. ET, and this one will be on data science and its applications in a lot of different fields. So definitely look out for those 2 events and make sure to come if you're interested in those topics. And yeah, so here you can see some of our flyers from last semester. We've had a lot of different ones. They're all held virtually this semester, so make sure to tune in. And in general, I really love Curb's mission of helping undergraduates find research and have a great research experience. And I think that it's really an amazing community that I found as a part of Curb. So yeah, so that's Curb Connect.
Hi, so my name is Annabella and I am the chair of the Symposium Committee. So the Symposium Committee is responsible for 2 really large events, but so few and far between. But we have one big event in the spring and one big event in the fall. So in the spring, it's called Spring Symposium and it's coming up. But what we do is we essentially give individuals who are already involved in research an opportunity to present their work in a professional setting. And so what we do is we recruit judges and we also let the students present, and then the judges give valuable feedback for the presenters in order for them to become stronger researchers and to be able to defend a lot of their ideas over the course of our event. But yes, that's Symposium.
Okay, hi, I'm Tara. I'm part of our CurbX committee here at Curb, and we are along with Symposium, we are one of the large research conferences that Curb hosts throughout the year. And as the name suggests, we do a biannual TEDx-style conference that seeks to provide a forum for the presentation and discussion of the wide variety of research being done at Cornell by undergraduates. And this research can span from the biological, chemical, and physical sciences to studies in the liberal arts, including sociology and political science. This semester, our conference is slated to take place likely in late March or April, and the timeline will be finalized in the coming weeks. If you do have prior research experience, we'd really encourage you to apply. Like I said, we really encourage a really wide variety of topics. It does not matter whether you're in biology or sociology or the humanities. We'd love to have you share your research with us. If you are not interested in presenting at CurbX, or if you don't have research experience yet at Cornell, we still highly encourage you to tune in to our CurbX conference as an audience member to support your fellow undergraduates as they share their research, learn something new, and maybe even discover a passion for a field of research that you hadn't really considered before. Just to give you an idea of the diversity of research highlighted at CurbX, one of our presentations last semester covered brown fat thermogenesis in the field of nutritional sciences. And another presentation covered Antonio Gramsci's political thought. So as you can see from these 2 examples, we really do try to highlight the broad spectrum of research being done at Cornell by undergraduates. One of the things that I love about being in Curb in general, which aligns really well with our mission in CurbX, is that I've gotten the chance to learn about so many different types of research in so many interesting fields beyond the scope of my own major. So Curb has really given me the chance to learn things that I never would have had I not gotten involved with and attended these events. So I guess I'll end by once again encouraging you to attend all of these amazing events being put on by our e-board. Thanks.
Yeah, as you saw here, there's some really, really amazing events, and we also have some other events that we throw on throughout the semester. They kind of depend. One that we did last semester was hold a remote research methods workshop, which kind of featured some librarians from Mann Library, as well as Martin Wells, who is a professor in the statistics department. To talk about literature reviews and meta-analyses, which was definitely very helpful for students that are trying to figure out how exactly to do research in a remote setting if they're unable to physically go into their labs, and kind of how exactly that might work in towards maybe working towards a thesis or working towards other aspects of their research. So we throw other events, so definitely keep an eye out and follow our socials, which we'll show here in a minute, to stay up to date with our events. So here are our contact information. We'll also drop it in the chat, so feel free to follow. The best way really to kind of get involved with us is to join our listserv. We send out weekly emails with opportunities, as well as not only within CURB, but outside of CURB as well. So definitely follow that for more information. So with that, we will switch over to our Q&A, which I will switch over to Victoria to kind of moderate, and we'll go from there. So feel free to DM your questions to her or send them in the general chat as well.
Perfect. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm using my iPad for the audio. Okay, awesome. So let me pull up the Q&A question real quick. So someone asked, I guess it's for me because it's about PMP. What is the time commitment for mentee and PMPs? Is it just Tuesdays from 5:30 to 6:30, or is there also a G-Body CURB meeting time? So that is the G-Body CURB meeting time. As a mentor, you also meet once every 2 weeks from 5 to 5:30 just to give updates and stuff. But as a mentee, 5:30 to 6:30 max. Sometimes it'll just be 5:30 to 6, depending on. And the good news about this semester, and we've learned a lot from teaching the program and running the program last semester, is that sometimes, the emailing used to get a little difficult with updating people. So we'll now have everyone on Slack, and you won't really have to worry so much about remembering when things will happen, because we will just update you well ahead of time through Slack. And that will be a much more efficient method to let you know about the times. And then you do have an extra time commitment, but it's not that big of a time commitment, maybe an extra hour or so. And that is to meet individually with your mentor outside of the G-Body times, and that's just supposed to help you. At the end of the day, we're not trying to make this a burden or an extra class or anything like that. It's supposed to help you find your way through research at Cornell. And we think a really valuable part of the program is the fact that you get paired with a mentor. And so your extra time commitment is up to your guys' own time. You guys will communicate through Slack about the ideal times. It'll be you to meet with your mentor individually, and that's sort of like your own personal research tutor. So I think it's great. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me see. We have a question. So this is for Annabella. Can you talk about any of the presenters that you've had in the past during the symposium committee?
Yes, definitely. Whoever asked the question, can I clarify? Do you mean student presenters like So I'm just here to provide the scenario and make sure you all answer.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so we've had a variety of people, we've had a variety of different projects, especially in past years. We formerly had a little bit of a skew where a lot of STEM presenters were favored. However, we've reached a point where we have a wide variety of presenters. I would say we have a lot of life sciences and also humanities. I think most notably there was an individual who actually had to present anonymously because she was talking about the Chinese government and their take on how they handled COVID. And in addition to that, they also had some engineering research and computer science research. We really do have a wide variety of individuals who apply and ultimately present at larger symposium events. I hope that answers your question, but I suppose if it sounds vague, it's because it is vague, and that's because we have a wide variety of projects that wind up being presented at symposium.
Amazing. Thank you, Annabella. We have a question again about PMP. If I become a mentee in PMP, are we required to conduct a research project of some description? I don't know entirely what you mean by that, but I can, so PMP is not binding in any way for you to find a research position. The goal is that if you're interested in conducting research at Cornell in any field, you're able to join the program, and the timeline in which you learn different things, such as like crafting an email to a professor or your CV or resume, interviewing, it'll be in line with when you're probably likely to do those things throughout the semester. And the point of PMP is to be part of the program at least a semester or summer, or at least a semester in advance of the time that you want to start your research position, which can be during the summer, or it can be the upcoming fall semester. So if you join in the spring, we will be talking to you about how you can join a position in the summer or in the fall or anytime later. And so you're not required to be part of a research position afterwards, but we're just here to give you information. That's really all that we're here for. And all we require in the application is that you talk about your interest in research and what specific type of research, so that we can help you be paired with someone that is also experienced in that field and can help you out in an individualized way. I hope that answers your question. If you have a follow-up, just message me privately and I can go back to that. Next, we have a question for the other Victoria. So what are some things that I can learn by attending Curb Connect programming?
Yeah, so there's several different parts to this. First of all, each event is sort of split into two halves. So in the first half, the professors sort of talk on their own, sometimes with a PowerPoint, sometimes without, about their research and their field. And so you can definitely learn a lot about, first of all, just an example of research in the field that you're interested in. And then second of all, just more generally about the field, what kind of research is done in it, what are some of the more recent developments, etc. And then in the second half, it's really just sort of an open discussion, Q&A. Over Zoom, we've been doing breakout rooms, one for each professor, and you have a chance to be in each of the breakout rooms, so you can talk to each of the professors. And so in that segment of the event, you kind of learn whatever you want to learn. You can ask any question you want about the field, about research, about pretty much anything. So it sort of is whatever you make of it.
Amazing, thank you so much. This is for outreach, so Jennifer or Lizzie, whichever one wants to answer. What other topics do you have planned for Into Your Own Backyard future events?
Sure, I can answer this. So the whole idea of In Your Own Backyard is that it's we present research that is relevant to Ithaca community members and also students at Cornell. So like I said, in the fall, we had one surrounding the topic of sustainability in the environment. And our event this semester, we hope to have mid to late April. And some ideas that we have, I think, well, one, we can talk about COVID, which is definitely relevant to everyone right now. Another is weather, the meteorology. Also, another idea is either food science and agriculture, where we can discuss either Cornell Dairy or the farmers market that we have in Ithaca. Another is astronomy or physics. So these are just some examples, and we won't be doing all in one event, just one of those, but definitely we have a list, a brainstorming list, not just for the semester, but also for future semesters.
Perfect. Jen, do you have anything to add, or is that all good?
Lizzie pretty much covered everything.
Perfect. Okay. So I just got a question. Are the professors that we meet in Curb Connect there because they are trying to recruit undergraduate students? Could Victoria talk about that, please?
Yeah, so in a lot of cases, in the majority of cases, the professors at Curb Connect do have undergraduates working in their laboratory. And so if that's something you're interested in, I've often had people let me know, or professors let me know, that students have sort of scheduled follow-up meetings with them afterwards, or talk to them during the events about, hey, do you take undergraduates? Is this something I could apply for or something I could talk to you about? And then often students have also scheduled sort of follow-up conversations if they want to talk more in depth about doing research with those professors. So I think in a lot of cases, these events have led to students finding out about specific research they could do in a specific laboratory, and following up with those professors.
Awesome. Where's the question? Yes. So this is for Nick. How can I get involved with the CURB e-board?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. So our e-board does recruitment in the fall, but I would totally encourage you to apply then. We will accept students, regardless of your background, be it whatever field you're interested in. You don't necessarily need to have research experience at the time of applying. We're really just looking for motivated students with fresh ideas on, how to improve our programming, how to better serve the Cornell research community. So yeah, stay posted in the fall. We'll be sending out, through our listserv, we'll be sending out applications, and so you'll get all the information through that.
Thank you so much, Nick. We have a question for PMP. So will my mentorship with PMP last beyond the semester? So this is an interesting question because actually before being co-chair, I was a mentor in the program, and technically the mentors are not required to help you beyond the semester in which you're part of the program, but the mentors that we interview and who apply are usually very enthusiastic about mentoring students even beyond the semester that they're helping you out in. And so I recall helping 1 or 2 students out after being their mentor. So yes and no. Technically, you should be able to get all the information you need within 1 semester, but you will have their contact information hopefully anyway, that where if you have any questions in a future semester or in the summer, they're more than happy to answer back. So either maybe Nick or Nanya can answer this one, but how has COVID affected me getting a research assistant position?
Yeah, I can answer this one. So yeah, it's a great question. So research positions do exist in person still. They are harder to find. So the main takeaway is be persistent. Don't take it personally if you have trouble finding an in-person position. It's difficult for everyone. It's not a reflection of yourself or your application. But they are out there, so I'd encourage you to keep trying. And also encourage you to consider positions that can be done remotely. So maybe if you're interested in exploring maybe the computational side of your research interests or the literature review side, you can really get creative thinking about how can you continue to learn about the subject you're interested in, even when some of the modes to access it are limited right now. So for any research field, there is a component that can be done virtually. So if you were to identify a professor who is taking that approach and offer to ask to talk to them about that, how you can get involved remotely, and you could also be successful that way.
And to add on to that, what Nick said is totally true, and that's a really great way to approach professors, especially given this time, because it can be hard for them to try and include you in an in-person capacity. But even if you are unable to find a professor that's able to take you on in that way, don't feel discouraged, like Nick mentioned. You can always try again in the fall as things start to clear up, hopefully, with the COVID situation. But regardless, attending some of these events and finding out more from different professors. Departments also have seminars where they bring in scientists from other universities to talk about things within a specific department. Also within, faculty will give talks in a lot of different forums and spaces. So try and, look for those opportunities to engage in the research community in that way as well. And kind of showing that interest is also another way to demonstrate to professors later on that you're really interested in getting involved in the research, and not just have that be something that, you know, you superficially want. So definitely keep that in mind. There's definitely ways to get involved this semester. You just really have to look for them and try them out.
Amazing. This next one is for outreach. Will I be able to talk one-on-one with a grad student to get specific help on my resume or personal statement?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So our workshops are actually designed so that there is an opportunity to work in either very small groups with a specific grad student or a group of graduate students, or one-on-one with the grad student. So we're hopefully going to be organizing kind of like office hours sessions where you're able to kind of drop in, even if it's not like a super serious, like, oh, I want to work on like my resume specifically. You can just go in and ask questions, or you can like bring your resume or personal statement and maybe talk through ideas or talk through something you already have written with a graduate student that's either in your field of interest or in a similar field of interest, so that you can kind of get more personalized help and another perspective to look, which is always really, really helpful with any application stuff. So I think these workshops hopefully will be designed for more personalized help in that process. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm sort of going to answer these two together. They both involve like the PMP timing of things. So if I'm worried about the time commitment, do I have to attend all PMP meetings? So there aren't too many meetings. There are maybe about 7. And so when you apply and when we match you, we have the expectation that you will be attending most, if not all, of the meetings, because then you could always just join at a later time and get all the information you need. We do keep track of attendance, and we have these very detailed transcripts at the end of each meeting, where if you attend the meeting, you just sit back and relax and just soak up all the information that we're telling you, and you participate in the workshops and ask any questions that you have. And then afterwards, once we've taken your attendance, we will keep track of who to send the transcript to. And the transcript is a much more detailed presentation that we can't get through in like the half hour necessarily. And we have pages and pages of like extra resources and links for you to get into the research position. So I don't think it'd be a great idea to try and skip as many meetings, because you're not going to get the same level of detail from the slides as those who do attend. So the reason we have you still attend, even though you get slides afterwards, is because you can ask questions. It's a very interactive program. So anytime that you have questions, you just put them in and into the chat, and then we just constantly answer them by the end of the session. And a lot of people do ask questions. So we allow like one excused absence, I guess, not to be too formal about it, but if you miss more than one of those absences, then you don't qualify, I guess, to participate in the networking events, namely like the graduate student networking event and those of that sort. And then what if I'm in a different time zone? So that's sort of an exception. If you're in a different time zone, we provide you the recordings of the meetings as well as the transcripts. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me see. If anyone has any questions, let me know. We have a few left. Can I attend symposium programming if I do not do research yet? So I guess this is for Annabella.
Definitely, thank you. So yes, in short, yes, and it's highly encouraged. Here's why. So when you have, so symposium garners a lot of individuals who are further down like the pipeline when it comes to their research in their undergraduate experience. And so if you wanted to get a good idea of how that might look like for your specific field or what's available out there, Symposium is a great place to start, where you can already go and see what research is already being done. And you might be able to help figure out like where your place could potentially be by virtue of coming and seeing what's being presented at symposium events.
Thank you so much, Annabella. Those were all the questions that we got. If anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to type publicly, privately. But if there are no other questions, thank you guys so much for coming. We are so excited about the prospect of you guys joining PMP, as well as potentially you guys applying to the e-board in the future, starting this upcoming fall, and attending a lot of the events that we have been just talking about over the past 45 minutes. So thank you guys again. If you have any last minute questions, please feel free to email us at curb@cornell.edu, our Instagram, all that. If you want the slides, please feel free to put your net ID in the chat right now, and then we will save the chat and then send it to you guys later so that you can have all our contact information, as well as it should be publicly if you could put your net ID. That would be great. But other than that, thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day and a good rest of your Q week.
Thanks for coming, everyone.